Namaskar and a very warm welcome to all of you at AAFT 24/7 Noida. And today, on the very auspicious occasion of Global Festival Journalism and AVGC Festival, we are having a very inspiring personality with us, Mr. Abberto, sir. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you very much.
How are you feeling?
Very well, thank you.
On the occasion of we are celebrating journalism today, and how do you feel that India is how expanded it is according to the journalism?
Well, I think India, as the largest democracy in the world, has a special place in what has to do with journalism. Journalism is one of the four pillars of democracy, and for that reason, I am sure that India gives it a great importance and values very much the contributions of the journalists to the reality of the nation.
And how important the journalism in the society and in the country of India, where we are very cultured, there is different casteism. How important it is, do you think?
Well, I think the penetration that journalism has nowadays is much more different than it was like 10 or 20 years ago, where like the written journalism was only there. Now you have the media, now you have other means of distributing the ideas and making them more known to people. So I think that it has more access in the society. And it's something that contributes to make people be aware of the problems, get to know also the position of India in the world, and have geopolitics play a different role. We are very much enthusiastic, the Latin American states, like the case of Uruguay, that it can be a great opportunity to have people get to know more about the world and other countries, that we are almost 15,000 kilometers away, but very close in what has to do with the exposure of our reality and have our cultures be connected.
Yes, and as social media is playing a very important role in the field of journalism, how do you think it is? Is it actually provoking people to start and to start speak about it, about any issue?
I think so. I think that people are more aware about what is happening, more aware of different thoughts, and have the possibility to compare also what different people think. So that is very important, and I think that social media is doing a great job in that sense. It has its risks, because you know there is fake news too, that is something that should not be very welcome, but at the same time we have the possibilities of having good news being done, and with responsibility and seriousness.
How do you think that how we can handle the situation of where there are a lot more fake news rather than a very prominent and good news?
Well, I don't believe in the control of news, because that is always something that can lead to a mishandling of the issues. But I think one has to recall the responsibility of the users, that you immediately can detect when you have a fake news, because sometimes it generally uses very prominent people and puts them like in awkward positions. And I think what one has to do is try to, you know, put aside those fake news and try to make them feel that they are not welcome.
The people who are not well known, to the people who do not know how to gather the news correctly, is there any apps we can see that it is a prominent news or not?
Well, I think there are already some in the market, and it is also good to have those kind of detections of this bad handling. And I'm sure that with the great, big companies, one can more or less have these kinds of apps. So I encourage more the self-determination of the people about what is right and what is wrong, but I also accept that there can be some apps that can help them.
people who want to pursue the journalism and wants to go in the field where we can see there's many ups and downs, very political issues, many side effects also. What are your golden words you would say to the students who want to pursue this?
I think, like it was said, journalism is not so much a profession, but more a mission. And there you have to have this sort of compromise with your society, with the people. I value and I admire the journalists because they have sometimes to take very risky situations. When you have to report from a conflict zone, when you have to go to places that do not offer, very good news, that you feel also uncomfortable to have to transmit those news. But it has a lot to do, with the self-confidence, the importance of the mission, knowing by the journalists that they are having a very important role in society, and we need to value them, we need to respect them, and we need to put them in the high place they deserve.
Also, as we can see, that social medias and the news agencies are more into hurry that who will post the news first. Do you think that we are lacking the pureness of news?
Sure. It is a problem because, of course, sometimes, everybody fights who has the news first. And that is competing towards who gets the news. But in that race, I think that the most important is not to throw around just news that are not completed, in the sense that they might be just the surface of something and it's not the whole structure of something that is happening. So sometimes it has a lot to do with the self-discrimination also of the journalists. So it's a matter of responsibility. Sometimes the people that that are managing the news just want to be desperate to get the news being known, and they don't have the proofs that that news is really something completed and that has been specially investigated or studied.
In the world we are having many Gen Zs in our country also. We are looking forward as a video format news, not as a printed format news. Do you think print media is going down, or what's your thought?
I don't think it's going to die. I mean, many countries have a little bit more the culture, of having print news and keep it up. But in nowadays society, when everything is dealt by the image, and that is also important. But I think that one has to have the time to still keep reading the news in its initial format. And it's always a pleasure to have something written. I mean, if you don't have time, you can leave that for the weekend, you can space it for another time. But it's always good to leave some time to read.
As we can see in radio also, there's no medium of visualization. There's no picturization. We can only listen and make our own thoughts according to the situation. That is projection. So what's your thought on that?
Well, I also have a great value for radio. I mean, radio is very important because it gives you access to certain parts that do not have that access, and allow you also to think in your own imagination about certain situations. So radio still also has a very valuable contribution to society, and it gives a lot to the ones that are far away. And I think it must be kept, and probably it's a complementary way of distributing because sometimes even, radio stories are important. They make people get interested into certain issues. And it's also a way to have culture be spread through other means.
Thank you so much for your valuable time, and for more insightful news, keep watching AAFT 24/7 Noida.